computer. Okay. Who wants to facilitate?
I could facilitate. Are we just kind of going through the questions in the group prep assignment?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start off with, what do you think of Osher's process for identifying opportunities in building companies?
I can start out. I think one thing he was really great at was he just noticed the trends happening around him very quickly, and he noticed kind of the gap of what products were providing and what the demand could be for things. He really showed that with his earring business, even as a teenager, how he saw a gap there where he could come in and take some market share right away just from providing a simple product. He didn't really invent anything new there, but he saw the need and he built on the current trends.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I think he's really good at seeing where there's a need. And something else that really stood out to me was when he was doing the toothbrush design, he was talking to potential customers, asking them why they're not buying toothbrushes. And he found out that they like the manual toothbrush, the way it feels, and they also think they're too expensive. So I think it was really good that he saw that and he kind of built something that was for the people.
Yeah, and he also yeah, go ahead first.
I just said, yeah, by the end I wanted to buy one. I didn't know where they were.
Mm-hmm. And also that he the fact that he priced his product in a reasonable price, where a lot of it catered for a vast majority of the market. Because pricing is also the type of product, and pricing plays hand in hand in the success of your business. Because he was able to identify the target market and be able to see the where the big company are not really thinking of the small, the buyers with the low income, and which is a lot of percentage goes to that the low income bracket. And they cannot, if you're a low income bracket, you're not going to buy a toothbrush that costs $50. So he sees that opportunity and that gap, and then he went to that and built his company from that also. So
are there any other thoughts on that one? We can go on to the next one. Who is John Osher, and how does he come up with his ideas? And I think we kind of covered that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any other thoughts on that?
Well, I think one thing that I was impressed with is he created those spin pop things, and he used that experience and kind of turned that into his next product, which was the electric toothbrushes. He used his experience with the spin pops and the manufacturers overseas, and saw what they could do there, and transform that into a newer and better idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was something that impressed me. It was just his use of his previous experiences.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Something that I like about Dr. Jones is that he is a natural entrepreneur. He is always looking for something new. He has a lot of ideas and new ideas, and he's always creating something. That's amazing.
He's an
Not,
innovator.
not every one of us has those skills. Well, that's something that I like when I was reading the case, that he has a new idea and another and another and another. He's a very creative person.
Mm-hmm.
He is a combination of innovator and entrepreneur. So that's a big
Mm-hmm.
aspect of one aspect of his success, because he has those two.
And I think it's also really cool how he pulled from his old relationships. He talked to old people he worked with and brought them on the company because he knew they were strong candidates to help him build his company. And I think that was important for his building any of his businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So he valued the one that he knows that can be a good. So during his experiences, he kept an eye on those people that has a good input, or a successful people. Yeah, which is a good thing to base our life also. So as we get to grow go on our own career.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So is SpinBrush a good idea, and how does John evaluate his opportunities?
I think it is a good idea, because it was mentioned that the other company has that idea already before, but never come into the market, never materialized, but he has the patent and everything from his own previous experience, and put it together and make it a new product out of it. I think it was.
For me, it is because he has an advantage, and that is that he has a lower production cost. So that's what everybody that has the intention of creating an electric toothbrush has failed, because their cost is too high. But he find a way to produce that with a low cost. So I think it's a good idea that he produced that. From my perspective, no?
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a great idea, and just the fact that he was able to get good people on his team and kind of build something that was cheaper than the $50 ones was really helpful to their success.
Yeah, I think we already talked a little bit too about how he comes up with his ideas, in that he looks at the environment around him and looks for opportunities and sees where there's a need that's not being met by the current products out there. And he seemed to always kind of have a beat on what's going to be the next big thing, and he doesn't get complacent. And it talked about when he had his energy business for and how energy prices were so high, and he saw immediately when they started to dip down lower, and he saw that was going to negatively impact his business, and so he transferred into making toys instead and had huge success there. But if he was a little bit more complacent and didn't have that insight, and maybe if he got lazy and stuff, then he wouldn't have seen that, and he would have had some major losses with his business.
He's always definitely on top of the industry he's in, and knows exactly what's happening and what to expect, and I think that's really impressive.
And I like the fact that he listed out the mistake he's done. He identified those, and that he was able to correct it. Because he identifies the mistakes that he have done from his previous company and experiences, and so that it was a learning experience from him, and then he used that to step up and be better entrepreneur compared to to other people.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of his success. So the next question is, why haven't larger companies already done a spin brush?
But I was wondering that too, and I didn't remember seeing anything that specifically said why they didn't. Maybe I missed it, but it did say that there were other companies working on it, but they never came to fruition, just like Marie mentioned. And I think that he just had great experience with his previous idea with the spin pops, and he knew a manufacturer already that could pull it off in China. And so he just had all the right connections, and he had all the right manufacturers and suppliers already on hand that he knew they could do it.
Yeah. He has several patent also that helps him to getting from one idea to another and put it all together. I think that helps him to come up with this product, and other company don't have that. Though it was not clearly mentioned in the it was not clearly mentioned there. So
yeah, I was kind of speculating that he just has he has a really good knowledge of how industries work, and he knew the right people, and like what Michael said. And I think that other companies don't have that, like in their little departments that are probably researching it, they don't have the same kind of connections and entrepreneurial drive that he does.
mm-hmm.
Well, for me, the reason is that it was extremely expensive to produce the toothbrush, and what he found is that, well, it's a way to reduce cost. So that way it is they're looking at like an excellent opportunity, since they are obtaining the same with a lower price. No, the reason because all the other companies didn't produce it is because I think it's because, as it was an expensive product, it was going to be hard for them to sell it in massive number. No, it was just for a specific market, and but the difference now is that everybody can have access to that toothbrush. That's my opinion. I don't know, what do you think?
Mm-hmm.
So the next part is, how much is SpinBrush worth, and how much value would you place on a company? And I don't know. I had some trouble with this one, and my number was just a guess. What?
I still need to do the calculation on the ratio to answer this particular part of the.
For how much it's worth.
And would you place a value on a company? I'm trying to go back to my accounting book and try to analyze what's the formula to calculate the particular ratio, and what kind of ratio you need to know. That will be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
Well, they're already selling about 6,000 units per day. So
Mhm.
retail
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
$5, isn't it? So they are selling about $30,000 per day. This means 900 case per month and 2.7 millions in the fourth quarter of 1999.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what that must help us to
Yeah, but
get a worth to the company.
sometimes trying to evaluate the worth of the company, it's not just based on the sales. You also have to base on the ratio of how much expenditures there've been, expenses, and also
Yeah,
the.
but that's hardly to know.
Say it again.
That I don't think that we have enough data to do that.
Yeah.
I
I'm not sure we
think
have quite enough
we
data to
can
do.
do. They have some financial statement here on the Exhibit 5A. And then we can work on that, trying to find certain ratios.
Mhm. Yeah. I don't know if we were supposed to go, that in depth with this. I think, I have no clue how I would put, and what I would value the company at. But I was curious before I even read these questions, and I did some more digging on the company, and I saw that in late 2000, they sold the company to Procter and Gamble for around $400 million, and so they made a lot of profit on their ideas that way.
Oh, okay, so actually the fact that it needs to this hold on. I think with the type of whatchamacallit, I have it. The type of criteria, type of cases, we have to analyze what type of case is this, and they're trying to make. It's a decision. They're trying to make decisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but in order to make a decision, you need to figure out, yeah, that's a good information you got, but right now, how far did they, I think it's only 2002, 2000 that they presented on the.
1999.
1999,
Yeah.
2000 in the case. So early 2000, that's what I see in here. So based on that year, what kind of decision they need to do? So it's either license it or continue building the company. So, but to make it that decision, we have to kind of partially not in depth, kind of put the ratio together. That's part of, I think that's part of the thing that we have to, the write-up that we need to do and to submit.
Yeah.
I don't think we had anything super specific for that one, though. For the how much is it worth? I just kind of did a rough estimate.
Can you speak up a little louder?
Yeah.
You're so quiet.
I did a rough estimate for that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I said there was 1.5 million in capital. And for 1999, the fourth quarter, I got they had 1.3 million in sales.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a bunch of intellectual property. So I guess their total worth would be like 17 million. But I think I was probably way off. And it's just like my rough guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's all we have to do for that one.
Okay.
I don't think it's any, I don't think we have to do a calculation.
Okay. So how do which question are we on? 6.
Then we're on 6, and that's what should John do? Should he sell the company try to expand it or license it.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think?
I think they talked about working with, I think it was Crest, right?
Yes.
Gamble.
Which is the same as, Procter & Gamble.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think that was a great idea because Crest is such a recognizable brand,
Mm-hmm.
and they hadn't put out their own the established brand of Crest to further their own product. And so I really liked that idea of licensing the brand with Crest.
I think the same thing. Osher, I think that Osher should try to license his product to Procter & Gamble. Well, in that way, he will increase his sales. And then after some months, I think that people decide to sell to them.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And also, Procter & Gamble is well known in other countries. And licensing with Crest through Procter & Gamble, it will help them with the manufacturing, the aspect, instead of outsourcing certain thing that was mentioned there. It will help them because Crest can use their own people to produce their product. So
I thought they should keep going as they were right now and then sell it in like a year or two. Because right now their company is doing really well and it shows a lot of potential for growth. And they're at like a 0.6% of the market, and I think they could easily get that up to like 3%. And when I was researching licensing, I found that most places only give like companies at 10%, so the company would only make 10%. And I'm not sure, but Crest had it had a 26% market share. And so if they're only getting 10% of that, that means they're only getting like 2% of the market. And I think they could easily go there with 3% market share, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I can see that line of thinking. I think the one best with it's a foregone conclusion that these other big, huge companies, they're going to come out with their own version. They might even be able to make it cheaper, and then they can leverage their already established brand. And so that's the one problem that they have to look at, because they can't expect to maintain all that growth without having competition come into the market as well.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
At the moment, when they did this, he's the only one that have that product out in the market. That's why he has a lot of sales. But then people tend to gravitate to a company that has a well-known brand. If it's a new product, they tend to go there and more reliable.
And they do have their patents protecting them a little bit, like the case mentioned. But I think it's over time though, that's they're going to find out a way to do it without infringing on those patents. And so I think for me the best option to them was to team up with Crest, and I think they can see a lot of growth that way.
Yeah.
But definitely other good ideas as well.
I think so.
So
Yes, we got some closure because you said they ended up selling for 40 million, right?
Yeah, they I found I was just researched the company name, and the first thing that popped up was in December 2000. So later that same year, they sold to Procter & Gamble for like 430 million, I think.
Wow.
So I'm guessing they they tried to further the licensing things, and Procter and Gamble is just like, well, we'll just buy you for almost for $500 million.
Yeah, because once they buy out, then the patent also, but
Yeah.
the renewal of the patent goes along with the patent goes along, but when it expires, they I don't know if it gives up give up the because the patent always goes to the whoever started it. So renewable in 20 years or so, depending on the 10 to 20 years. So
Yeah, sometimes when you can sell, I think you can include patents and stuff in the agreements. I'm not exactly sure how all that works, but I'm sure they got a good deal though.
okay. So
475 million actually. Yeah.
Wow.
75 million. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't sell a toothbrush for that.
Made a good deal.
It's worth it. I guess.
know if it's
Right now we're using some of some of their product.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's cheating to go look it up or not, but there it is.
It's nice to have some closure though.
So
That was kind of the last question about the case.
so how to analyze a case?
Yeah.
How do you
So
analyze a case?
the wrap-up questions about, so how do you analyze a case? And
yeah,
I kind of said, you have to figure out what kind of problem you're trying to solve, or if you're making a decision, if there's a problem, what's happening, and then kind of think about what data you might need to make an educated choice based on what you're trying to decide.
Well, also looking at the general industry, particular industry, looking at it, and then you analyze where is in his particular business placed on the industry, the growth rate, and all that will play an aspect into making decision. And the case is it's based on whether he make a decision to sell it or to license it or continue on.
Yeah, I liked the. Did you guys see the case analysis study guide?
Yeah, I have it.
Did you guys get that at all? I really liked a lot of the steps that it had in there, and I think those were really useful for analyzing a case. The first thing it says to do is read the first and the last sections first, and then kind of work from there. And I tried that this time, and I've had other classes where I've done cases too, and I've tended to just read from top to bottom, but doing it this time, reading the first section and then going to the last section and reading it, I think really kind of heightened my my understanding of what's going on in the case and what we're looking at, and then I went and read all the middle parts after that to solidify that. So I liked those first steps that it had.
Yeah, it's nice to have it handy, and it asks you in step 2 to ask questions, whether it's be given by our instructor or we can come up with our own questions.
Yeah, I read that thing, and then I also watched the videos, and I thought the videos were helpful in figuring it out.
Yes.
They kind of talked about just taking it step by step, learning who the company is, trying to figure out any questions you might have from what you've read so far about how they're acting or what might help you figure out the solution.
So I have a question that we need to form as a group, because I think we need to do the write-up and then submit it. One of us can submit it.
Well, what we have to do is these questions.
I thought we did them individually. Is it as the group?
Yes. Answer these questions individually and submit them. That's it. That's what we have to do. these same questions that we were analyzing tonight, we need to write it down in a document and then send them.
Okay.
Okay, with our, I mean, we already made a group conclusion, but we need to do it individually.
Oh, it's not as a group that you.
Yes, as a group, we are going to submit this
Video link.
yes, the video, but we need to do our own document, and that's what we're going to submit as assignment.
Oh, okay. I thought we're submitting as individual, as a group.
Yeah, we get the questions to kind of prep and figure out what to discuss for the recording.
Yeah, but we have to do that. That's what we're going to submit in the case analysis submission, and the video is going to go in Dr. John's case discussion topic.
Okay. Discussion.
Okay, that's where we're going to put the
video link.
The link.
Okay.
The link of the video. You are recording, right, Marie?
Yes.
Okay, so then probably we're going to need that you send us the link to the video.
Okay.
Okay, you can do that by mail, and then we can submit the same link in our profile.
Okay.
Okay, and so we need to finalize our group because I have to email our instructor, and so he can put us in that group discussion. He just sent us an email.
No.
He said, no, just a sec.
No.
He sent us an email here. He said, you will notice the classroom has a place for group labeled lesson LT1, 2, 3, etc. The system randomly placed you into one of these groups until I organize you into your real group. This is an aggravating thing that happened. When you assemble your group, email me a list of who is in your group, and I will put them in the right people together into lesson LT1 and 2, etc. So that
that's gonna, as I understand, that's gonna be until week 3.
No, he made a post that we have to organize ourselves into our group. And what we started now, that we can keep it throughout the entire semester. And then also, since if we organize ourselves in a group of 2 or 4, then that's going to be our group. We don't need to wait until lesson 3, because he said that the syllabus stated that way, but he wanted us to organize ourselves into our group.
I understand now. I understand.
So I know I've been sending in, what's your name again? Hold on, sorry, you just popped in today, so.
I'm Luis.
I say it again?
Luis.
Luis.
Yes.
Since Derek is the first one that responded into my post and he's not here, so what you guys think? This 4 is good?
Let me tell you something, guys. For me, it's hard to join on Wednesday. If you can see, I'm on the chapel right now. I'm the bishop here. I have a bishop meeting. For me, it works perfect on Tuesday and on Thursday. And Tuesday.
What about you two?
Wednesday doesn't work for me. I'm doing an effort tonight. My counselors are on the other office having the meeting. And I'm just going to go after we finish. I'm going to conclude the meeting. But hopefully I have two very good counselors. So I prefer if we can meet on Tuesday and on Thursday. Well, Tuesday and Thursday, because we're going to. I think it's going to be necessary to meet twice a week. Some weeks it's just one. I already checked the schedule, and some weeks it's only one case analysis, but in most of the weeks there's two case analyses.
Okay. So what about you, Jeremy and Michael? Are you guys good with Tuesday or Thursday? Tuesday and Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Tuesdays
good
are
for
fine
me.
with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are and Wednesday for me.
Probably what we can agree is, if it's okay with you, and if we only met one day, in that one day, analyze the two cases of the week, but I don't know how much work
With that?
we need to read both cases early in the week.
Mm-hmm.
But we can adjust that on the following weeks, if that's okay with you.
So you guys are good with Tuesday and Thursday?
Thursday is good for me.
Good.
Who said Thursday?
Yeah. Well, I mean Tuesday and Thursday, both days. What do you think?
Yeah, both of those work for me.
Okay.
Michael?
Those days work for me. Yep, we're good.
Both Tuesday and Thursday. Okay. So we're set. So is this our group for the entire semester then?
Yes.
Yep, that's fine with me.
Because Derek didn't show up, didn't respond to any thread that I posted even on Monday, Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. And I know we have until, but I don't like waiting towards the end of the last week, next week to put together a group. It's better that we know who's our group member already, so it's easier to communicate that way for me.
Okay.
Is 4 the max? Are we not allowed to have more than 4?
Let me ask Brother Nebecker, and if he's okay with the 5th one on our group, then we'll keep him on our group. Would that be?
I think that's the best case. Okay. If 4 is the max, then we'll have to figure something out. But I don't want to hang him out to dry. In case he's able to meet, regularly in the future. But
yeah,
we'll just see. We'll see what we can do.
Okay, so I'll give him a, if he doesn't respond to any of our email this week, I guess we need to but I will still email Brother Nebecker and see what he said about numbers of member in the group.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay then, so I will email the link and post it on where it's supposed to be posted. And thank you for meeting tonight, and I really appreciate the effort that you guys putting in to this class, so we can all get A's.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
You're going to send us the link, and you're going to upload the meeting, right?
Yes, I will upload the link to the meeting where it's supposed to go.
Okay, and can you send us the link also by mail too?
Yes, and if you can set, well, I'll figure out your email. I was able to figure out the rest of the email of everybody, so I'll go on the list of our class. So
if not, I can.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll send it to you in a few. Okay. Well, you guys have a great
Thank you very much.
You too.
Okay. Thanks.
Nice
Later.
You, Michael and Jeremy.
Good to meet you all.
Okay, nice to meet you all.
See you on Tuesday then.
Okay.